how many people in the United States? 300 million?
330.
330 million, okay. How much is $100 billion divided by all the people? That's a lot of money. What's your share of that? Can you afford your share of that? I can't.
No.
I can't.
But
But
I'm Sterling.
I'm Harrison.
And this is Hard on the Paint by Big Country Equipment.
North Korea has three different cyber terrorism groups. I call them cyber terrorism groups. They're very professional. They've made a living. North Korea gets a lot of its money by breaking into South Korean banks and locking up their accounts with ransomware. And they charge them a lot of money to have their accounts unfrozen. They still do that. You're just going to see more of that kind of stuff, right? What are you going to do when your bank can't operate?
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it.
I don't know. I guess
Since we've been a dealership, I've seen it 3 times. Companies saying their bank has been hacked, and I've seen it twice saying that their bidding software has been hacked and held for ransom.
Yeah.
So hacking is becoming more prevalent. We see it in social medias. We see it in emails. We see it in servers. We're seeing it in.
Well, I also think it's more or less, Harrison, like our generation getting better with technology,
Right.
and there's more people with that skill set than there was
It's most
in
of the
previous
Russians.
years.
Russians doing a lot of that stuff. The Russians are doing a lot of that.
Well, I guess in the
How do you
90s there
know
was
Russians
the.
are doing this stuff?
I know a lot of stuff, but the the North Korean hackers are only targeting South Korean banks. That's where their money is. The Russians are targeting the others for the most part.
Did you watch Tucker Carlson's interview with
I did not.
Putin?
I didn't. Oh, the Putin. Yes,
Yes.
I watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
What a great
was
interview.
what was your take from that with Putin interacting with someone
Putin is a serious guy, and he firmly believes in what he believes. He believes in the whole history thing, and he couldn't believe that Tucker Carlson couldn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, you got to understand, Tucker. These people in Ukraine, they just understand they're part of Russia, and they just need to accept it because it's been this way for so many generations, for so many hundreds of years. This is a guy going back hundreds of years in terms of the history and saying, this is the way it is. And he called out America. He said, hey, look, when we made this treaty, you said, okay, no one else gets to join NATO. And then you went back on it and you added all these other countries. It's a good point.
Well, then I liked how he compared our relationship with Mexico or Canada, and then him saying, well, how would you like it if I came in with Mexico and was like, hey, I'm going to be your neighbor now? And
We did this. We did this back in the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Mm-hmm.
This is the game we played, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Russians said, fine, we'll stick missiles 90 miles off your coast. My father was on active duty at the time. He said it's close as he thought we were going to get to World War III.
mm-hmm.
We didn't know what was going to happen. And
Right.
the Russians blinked and they backed off.
Do you feel like we're in similar times? Or that
we have.
there's some...
North Korea has a nuke, okay? Iran has attacked Israel, okay? Iran has been refining uranium all these years. Stuxnet was designed to take out the centrifuges used to refine the uranium, and then we gave them all that technology back, and we gave them all that money back. What's Iran doing with that money? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they have the funds to produce and the technology.
They've
to
got the
produce.
funds and the technology to do it, and they're funding their actors to go in and harass the Middle East. We're closer to World War III than we ever have been any time that I was in the Army.
And
it's more actors involved. It's more.
right.
Nobody cared about China. Nobody cared about China when I was in the Army.
Then you go back and you circle around all that, and you go back to U.S. Treasury and lots of lost, like billions of dollars of lost funds for the Treasury Department. Some were billions of dollars to defense and dollars to these other areas where they're not unaccounted for funds. And does that make you lose any faith in our government?
And what you fought for?
We have how many people in the United States? 300 million?
330.
330 million, okay. How much is $100 billion divided by all the people. That's a lot of money. What's your share of that? Can you afford your share of that? I can't.
No.
I can't.
But
But 25% of our money has been printed in the last 18 months. We went off the gold standard in 1972. Ever since then, we print. What's the value of the dollar based upon? What's the value of the, it's no longer based on gold. What's the value of the dollar based upon?
It's people.
What commodity drives the value of the dollar?
It's Social Security of the payback from new population.
It's oil. Oil is priced in U.S. dollars, so everyone has to use the U.S. dollar because they want oil. Oil's priced in U.S. dollar. When it stops being priced in U.S. dollar, the U.S. dollar has zero value. Right now, its value is diminished because we've printed all these trillions of dollars. 25% of every dollar printed since we started the country is within the last 18 months. Are you kidding me?
I think our deficit's at close to 30 trillion.
I can't afford it. I can't afford it.
And
If I sold everything I had, I couldn't pay my share of what the government owes.
Have you ever done the breakdown in where million, billions, and trillions instead of currency do it in minutes?
You can't, it's unfathomable. We can't.
A trillion minutes is 14,000 years.
Yeah, it's nuts, right? It's nuts.
I'll have to fact check you later on that.
No, it's crazy. It's a crazy huge number. It's back to my point about the mainframe and you know the smartphones in terms of magnitude.
But
and
do you
scale.
feel like the government says, we're doing this with one hand and we're showing you something else with the other, right? Do you feel like that's happening
Yes,
at all?
absolutely.
'Cause I
Absolutely.
mean, it feels that way.
Absolutely.
And